Well, Clark, in the beginning, we had a 4-week cycle.
Right.
Remember? And I
We
think
were pushed.
Right. Everybody was very
Push.
stressed about trying to get to the data meeting with that common assessment done and graded and analyzed, and there was a lot of stress.
And then we only had 1 week to analyze the data, and then it was time to move on to the
Right, we
next
had to be coming up with the
4-week
next
meeting.
one.
So we added a 5th week to our cycle, which in turn gave us an opportunity to go back and reteach, retest, and that way we had the true effect of the pre and post test. And we saw a lot of gains.
Yeah.
It was tough at first. The kids weren't ready for it. They didn't like it because, I'm taking the same test again.
And one of the things with a new curriculum, I was very anxious about trying to get those common assessments done so that we would have them for the lifetime of the adoption.
Right.
And we didn't have them in the first place. So we were really kind of focusing on big unit summative tests, and we couldn't get there. So
No, it was too much
then we
material too
decided,
short
all
time.
right, we've got to back off. Some cycles we're going to make it to have the unit test be our common assessment, but we'll make them common anyway,
Right.
whether that's the one we analyze or not. But then we started using summative or
Right.
little formative assessments so that we could not have that stress of trying to get this part finished. But I will say that the whole process really forced us to stay on track.
Yes.
I finished much more of the curriculum this year
Right.
than I came even close to finishing last year.
And everyone being on the same track. Okay, we're all working on the same material at the same time. That way, if I dig something out of my cabinet that somebody else may be able to use, I've got it, I can share it, and we're all using it at the same time, then we can all put it away at the same time. Wow.
Well, I think some of the assignments that we chose to be our common assessments, we would probably back off a little bit and not put quite as much stress on that, because we had to learn the process and we had to understand, okay, what are we really trying to do when we're analyzing this data?
Right.
We've decided that we're not going to use the same subgroup that we were using
Correct.
this year, because it turns out that that subgroup is pretty much our
80%,
entire population.
right.
So we have identified another subgroup. We're going to stick with the students with disabilities for our whole department next year, because that is where we see we need to really focus a different kind of effort.
More of
So,
a disparity.
Yeah, we
And
will
we've
do
also-
things a little bit different.
Yes, and we've also, from the beginning of the year until now, we've seen a progression in our assessments. Some of our assessments at the beginning were just basically like a unit test, whereas our assessments back towards the end of the year have come full circle, and we now see we need to just hammer one part of a unit. For example, the end of the 7th grade curriculum, we're hammering genetics, which is one of the bigger topics. So we're using that, but we're at the beginning of next year, the common assessments that we had already done, we'll have to go back and revise those, but we've got a good start.
Yeah, and even though we weren't using each unit test for our data analysis, we've still made them as a group,
Yes.
and we're using them as a common assessment. We
Yes.
weren't so sharing of our intellectual
Knowledge,
property. We weren't really
tools.
sharing our intellectual property.
Right.
And even, our principal, when she was here teaching, she can remember back to where if you had one specialty in your little repertoire, that was your thing, and you weren't expected to share it.
Right.
I was the queen of astronomy, and I liked being the queen of astronomy.
Right.
If somebody asked me to borrow something, sure, you can use this poster or this model or this whatever. But did we share our expertise? Not so much.
No.
Not so
And
much.
now we we come in and our best practices meeting is just that. For example, I like to put my kids on Discovery Education, the United Streaming website. They can go home, they can watch the video there, come back to the classroom, work on an assignment. And I shared with the department how to set up the classes. So how you go in and put all the students into a class, how you make an assignment on United Streaming that the students can then see at home and then follow through with.
And that was so valuable because I have no clue
Right.
how to do that.
And we're finding
we
with
use
the
each
Think
other.
Central and some of our other technology that we can do the same.
Yeah. One thing I like to do, Laura Hill every year asks me to come up with, okay, here's the list, name the people in your department, and she has a little column on that list. What is everybody's sort of area of expertise? And I got so excited when I saw that. We write down our little areas of expertise, and some of us have actually switched out and taught each other's class. You know, Michaela loves cells, but
Right.
that's not in her curriculum. I, of course, love astronomy and space, so
It not being in your curriculum.
right, one Great American Teach-In Day, we switched out, and I taught her class all day, and she taught mine, and she did her fabulous expose on cells, and I shared my zero-G experience with the 8th graders who were studying
What
space at the
better?
time. What better way to bring in experts than your own
Right.
department members?
Exactly.
So, I'll tell you what though, I still get a big kick out of science being the best scores in the school.
Well,
I'm not giving
we
that
work-
up.
we
I will
work hard.
admit, I still get excited about science scores going up.
Well, if we keep our kids involved and we enjoy what we do, we're going to get a better product.
Yeah,